Welcome back. In our last video, Currency, we talked about the first crack test category.
In this video, we'll talk about the second category, Relevancy. So let's begin.
Sometimes, especially in a time crunch, it's easiest to use the first Google result as proof you know what you're talking or writing about. But often, using that first Google result is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
There's more to relevancy than just picking a source that has your topic in the title.
But how do you know if the information is relevant for your topic?
Start by figuring out how much of the information in a source relates to your topic. Ideally, you want the majority of a source to do so, unless you need a very specific piece of information. A source probably isn't relevant if your topic is only mentioned briefly. It's easy to read through shorter articles and quickly figure out how much of the information relates to your topic, but for longer articles, it can be helpful to look at the abstract. For books, read through the introduction and the table of contents or index. These are just a few ways to figure out how much of the information relates to your topic.
You can also evaluate for relevancy by considering your audience. Ideally, the tone and language should be appropriate for who you're presenting to. If it's too technical or simplified, then it's less relevant for your audience. Lastly, look at your research requirements and make sure the source meets those needs. For instance, if your boss wants an article pulled from a website, finding an article from a scholarly journal won't do you any good, no matter how well written.
In summary, the best way to figure out if the information is relevant to your topic is to ask the following questions. How much of the information relates to your topic or answers your question? Is the information targeted or appropriate for your intended audience? Or is the information too technical or too simplified for your intended audience? Does the information meet your research or assignment requirements?
Let's look at an example. Of the two sources, which has the most relevant information about career options in music? The abstract from source 1 suggests that a large portion of information in the article relates to the informational need. The abstract from source 2 suggests that only a small portion of the article relates to music careers. Despite the article title, which sounds very promising, the information focuses on one woman's career journey, not the career itself. Therefore, Article 2 doesn't meet the research needs and is less relevant than Article 1.
Let's try one more. Of the two sources, which has the most relevant information for middle schoolers about biology careers? While both sources relate to the topic and meet the research needs, Source 2 is less targeted for middle schoolers and more appropriate for an older audience, especially since the language is more technical and data intensive. Source 1 uses more simplified language, which is more appropriate for middle schoolers. Therefore, Source 1 is more relevant than Source 2.
Remember, when evaluating relevancy, answer the questions mentioned in this video.
Watch our next video, Authority, to learn about the third CRAP test category.